Also, let's chat a little bit about AEW. This past week, it was Brandon Thurston's latest appearance with Josh Nason, our good friend over at the Wrestling Observer site. You guys went through the Q3 results for All Elite Wrestling, covering July through the end of September. And I thought we could go through some of the highs and maybe a handful, if not more, lows for AEW over this period. I mean, on top of everything you have, we are still in the wake of the recent renewal of the television deal with WBD. But I think it's always a good chance to look at over a period of time where AEW is. And did this reaffirm for you, Brandon? Like actually going through all these numbers, seeing where AEW is at and kind of confirming, like when people say AEW is cold, is that an overstatement or would the numbers back that up?
The numbers back that up. Even in ranking, Dynamite on a median basis in Q3, its rankings, which is what we've now been told to focus on. And I think that is, I mean, really, that's what I said to focus on some 8 years ago, or in 2016, 2017, I was saying that's the thing that we should really focus on the most, because that's saying, okay, here's all these cable properties, which ones are the best, which ones are the ones that I want to pay the most for, controlling for all of the factors. Point being, from a year ago, at the same time, looking at cable, prime time, Dynamite's ranked, and this is among all programs on a given week, is ranked a little bit lower than it was a year ago. Collision is ranked a little bit lower than it was a year ago. Rampage is ranked a little bit lower than it was a year ago. In terms of the demo, they're all down by double digits from a year ago. In terms of total viewership, they're all down by double digits from a year ago. In terms of attendance, Dynamite and Collision are both down by double digits from where they were a year ago, and pay-per-view is down, well, by double digits from where it was a year ago in terms of estimated tickets distributed via WrestleTix. We've still got another couple pay-per-views to go here in 2024. So I don't know what the breakdown is at the same point without pulling up a spreadsheet. They do have more pay-per-views in this year to help them get to a higher total versus last year.
Yeah, we have Full Gear this weekend, World's End at the end of December, and then you also have the ROH Final Battle show.
They'll have one more pay-per-view in 2024 because they'll have Dynasty this year, which they didn't have in 2023.
Yeah, I would say, like, just kind of going through the events for this quarter, I would, your big standout events, you had two pay-per-views with All In, All Out, and then you had the residency at Esports Stadium, where they did both AEW and ROH programming. You had Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium. I mean, 8,800 people that, I mean, if you're comparing year to year at Arthur Ashe Stadium, like it's a far cry from where they were at the onset running that venue each year. But by the standards of today, 8,800 for a non-pay-per-view, I'm sure they were like that holds up as one of the high points here. But I mean, you really have to just be looking at an overall downturn in popularity for the company. That is something they are battling. You can see with the on-screen product, like there are very clear measures being demonstrated in terms of trying to promote more shows, hammering home pay-per-view dates. I mean, there's definitely an aggression on television, but it's going to take time to see if that is really going to take hold with people. And ultimately, I think you look at it's going to be that formula of finding a star or stars that really just are able to grab an audience and that can lift everything. But they are, they're in a rut as this year comes to an end, and it's hard to come to any other conclusion than that.
And to be clear, these rankings are, at least in Dynamite's case, is still high enough that it's not like WBD bought something that isn't worth what they thought it was worth. Dynamite is still highly ranked on its week, on its night, and it's still worth a lot of money. I don't want to give it an opposite message. That being said, there's a difference between the financial outlook of this company and the trajectory of their fan popularity. And those two things are going in totally opposite directions, much like WWE was going in opposite directions in 2018. They made a great TV deal while their popularity was descending and continuing to descend after that. That's just the weird counterintuitive wrestling business that we live in now. But what would, if you were to get an honest answer from someone in AEW or from Tony Khan himself about why this is happening, what do you think their truly believed reason is?
if we were to inject Tony Khan with truth serum and we got an honest answer,
assuming it's not illegal for him to answer that,
yes, like they're overseas television deals when it comes to airing things live or taped, which could be illegal.
My question is the problem, what's the problem, A, and B, do they even identify a problem, the right problem?
No, I don't think you. I think from the outside looking in, I don't even pin it on like one particular thing. I think anyone can go back, and if you want to look at the impetus of this problem, I think it really takes form with that press conference with CM Punk. I think that was the first time that this product, you saw just this major star airing out all of his grievances with this company and adding this negative taint to this brand that had been kind of cultivated as sort of a fan-first product that was satisfying an audience, that people were happy to be there. This is a more pleasant environment than the competitors. And yes, we had heard all of the problems that were in the lead up to this, but this was the powder keg. This was undeniable to dismiss as hearsay, rumors. Here was your biggest star next to the head of this company, just unloading on the building blocks of this company and the DNA itself of this company. And this is where it begins. And you can Monday morning quarterback all the ways this was mishandled, the attempt to try and keep CM Punk happy, to bring him back, to build a show around him. But this was, to me, when the toxicity began, and that further was exacerbated with the exit of CM Punk, I think leaving a real negative image of the company that was left in kind of this, well, that was the end of one chapter of this company. What is the next chapter? And this coincides with WWE heating itself up, and you're battling this negative image along with a super positive image now of WWE with the post Vince McMahon WWE. It's no longer in vogue to be dismissing WWE or it's the uncool product. Now that's flipped, and you're in the unenviable task of trying to convince your fans we are the cool product, we are cutting edge, and you're watching a product that it doesn't scream cutting edge to you. You have some great performers, you have some great content, but it's an overall vibe that is very hard to put your thumb on as just one particular thing when it's overall it's image repair that you are most in need of. And I think that there is a sort of overall feeling when you watch this show that it's trying to appeal to so many different bases and to try and be everything instead of what is our mission statement. What are we not? What are we not going to do? And I don't think there's anything off the table that they are going to do. Yes, this is the company that can give you your big Will Ospreay performance on pay-per-view every month. We're also the company that will bring in MXM collection because there's an avenue for that. There's an avenue for this. We're trying to do so many things. It's just not clicking, and it's very hard to just turn that momentum around when it's up against you.
Yeah, I want to say again, AEW is good for three, maybe 4 years, because that's the term of their TV deal, which starts in January. But I think, I feel very much that the way that people talk about AEW now is the way that people talked about WWE throughout the 2010s, saying, well, if they just, what about if I hope they're going to do, like, it doesn't really, that's assuming that this is a company that is built for fans first. And I think, yeah, Tony cares a lot about the fans. He really wants to please them, but who he wants to please more are the talent and the staff who he works with. And that avoids AEW having a clear vision that's going to build stars and build an audience and reverse this trajectory just to even get back to the level of popularity that they were at a year ago or 2 years ago.
If you look at the way business is now, is this sustainable? Like, this level of AEW did get this renewal, and this did give them 3 years. Certainly you can look at these numbers as like, is this rock bottom? Is there a lower amount to hit? Or is there the belief that,
if this flattens out, yeah, but if it can, I mean, it's not stopping. The decline is not stopping. As you can see, if people watching the video can see in this chart here, it's double digits. It was down in 2022. It was double digits down in 2023. It's double digits down now in 2024. If it plateaus and levels off at some point, and if that point is a point at which Dynamite is still ranking highly enough to get a good TV deal, then yes, they'll be fine. But of course, at a certain point, Dynamite continues to fall and loses a lot of value.
There's just whenever you're looking at these popularity metrics, it's what you can convert these metrics into real dollars with. And at this level, they've been able to secure this deal. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that if you are Tony Khan, who are you leaning on for constructive criticism versus don't listen to all this negativity out there? You're doing great. You have built this company into a totally viable alternative that has secured a 9-figure deal for minimum 3 years to go, and this is not as doom and gloom as it is made out to be,
and was unthinkable in 2017.
And this becomes very difficult, I think, to balance real criticism from bad faith criticism at the time. It's not to dismiss where AEW is. This is a very viable product, and it does have the cushion of getting this television deal into its rear view and gets that kind of it now gets a reprieve to focus on where you want to be. Obviously, you want numbers to be higher than this. The question is identifying that product and having the people around you that are going to help you identify that product and be able to come up with a coherent strategy at a time when the industry is so geared towards producing more content. And there's the natural question of just the overflow of just workload for a Tony Khan to focus on this. And that becomes a bigger question that we have seen so many people in these positions reach that burnout factor. It's not like Tony Khan can step aside like a Jerry Lawler in Memphis and have Jerry Jarrett take over for 6 months. Like, you don't have that person that is there in that position to oversee when Tony Khan has invested himself into all facets of the industry.
Why couldn't he? I mean, why couldn't he just say, I'm going to let somebody else run TV for the foreseeable future?
I don't know if that person is there. That
person B is the problem.
I think that's it. Like, there's nothing that would stop him from doing such a thing. I just do not think like that person has been identified and put into that position that could oversee so many things. Even if Tony Khan,
nobody knew who Tony Khan was in 2018, but yet he came in and he read Observers for a lot of his life, and he was a huge wrestling fan and loved wrestling, and he was able to do it, which tells me. I do think that he has a special knowledge about wrestling that enabled him to do that. But it tells me that there's a lot of people that could do this job and do it well. And a lot of people who have been able to do the job, been given the opportunity and have been given the job, didn't have the knowledge to connect with this kind of audience.
Rob Bahari is given Rampage on Friday nights.
There you go. Assistant Booker Cubs
him and the Cubs fan. Just give them Rampage. Give those two Rampage.